what Joe's doing. Oh. What? A little bit. Skiing. What you doing?
I finally started the battery up.
I found a charging thing in my truck.
Yep, so we're going to tear apart and put the old petcock on there. No gas.
Hey, do you want to be on camera? Ooh, what is that?
Oh, I'll tell you what that is. You step it?
No, almost.
Then I'll point that to you that. Here's the water right there.
Is that like peanut butter flavored grease or something? All right, so give me a rundown of this bike quick.
Alright, so what we're dealing with here is a 2001 Suzuki Bandit 1200. I bought the bike probably, 4 years ago now? Didn't do much of anything to it. I put cheap Chinese brakes on it that the kid gave with me. The reason the kid sold it is because he laid it down. If you look on the passenger side, had completely bald tires on it whenever I got it. As far as that, last year, so the problem that I had with it was the petcock on the gas tank did not stop the fuel from flowing. It was like a perfect storm. So as the fuel was flowing, the carburetor...
So this is the petcock right here, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing you would turn your reserve fuel on with.
Yeah, and then the floats were stuck. So it literally drained the entire gas tank into the engine. So you see how it's at a slight angle. So if the carburetor floats are stuck, basically just keeps filling and filling and filling, which dumps it into your engine, which is it. How much of a degree angle do you think that engine sits at?
Oh,
it's definitely not perpendicular.
15?
Yeah, so it's
not
probably...
a lot.
So whatever degree it is, it's just enough for the fuel
For just to pour.
Yep, right
Gravity
into the engine.
feed right in.
So the day that I left here with it, I started up like normal, had the choke on, everything warmed up. When I rolled out the driveway, it seemed a little funny, like it was misfiring, so it was carrying on a little bit. I made it probably a half a mile up the road, and the bike just shut off, fell on its face. It wouldn't start, it wouldn't anything. So I'm sitting there cranking it until I almost killed the battery. Let it sit for a little while, and it fired up. It fired up long enough to make it probably 50 feet down the road and shut back off.
Meanwhile, like gasoline's probably literally pouring out of the exhaust at this point.
So, yes, basically, the whole engine was full of 3.5 gallons of gas. So, it shut off, so I pushed it the rest of the way to the bottom of my driveway. And whenever I got to the bottom of the driveway, it fired back up and I drove it back here. While I was back here, I was trying to diagnose what was happening, so I checked for spark, made sure there was gas in it, which there wasn't any gas in it. I should have known something was wrong there.
Yeah. I left with a full tank of gas, and now there's none, and the bike won't start.
So the next thing I checked was my sight window. And no matter what I did with the bike, whether it was tilted at an angle like this, as you tilt it up, the level actually shows you how full it is through the sight window. And there's two lines there. One's low and the other one's a high mark. So that was completely just black, and I couldn't figure out why it was black. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I pulled this, which is your oil fill, and you could just smell gasoline. So at that point, I knew I had an issue. So what I ended up doing was draining all that out of it and putting new oil in it. And what would happen also is it would run long enough to drain this because the floats were stuck. So it'd run long enough to slowly seep in there, and then it'd run long enough to where it drained this, and then the bike would shut off. That was the issue I was having because the floats were stuck. So after I changed the oil, I tore all these carburetors apart and cleaned them. Well, we'll see later in this video here when I tear them back apart. I'll show you there's butterfly valves in there you have to adjust individually. You you have to tear all this apart. So you have to unadjust those. So I thought I had them set correctly. Like, so right now it idles high. So if I start it with the choke on or with it off, it'll idle high. So that's the issue I'm having now.
Yep.
So no matter what, it idles like that. I can sit there and adjust the idle as much as I want and it won't change. So I have to tear these back apart, clean it to make sure there's nothing in there, put them all back together, and we're going to replace the petcock while we're at it. So it doesn't have that same issue anymore.
Right on.
It just dumps fuel into the carburetors.
Right on. Dude, I was noticing, this is wild. This exhaust, the freaking diameter of this full exhaust is ridiculous.
Oh yeah. It's like basically having a straight pipe on it.
It's like a car exhaust.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the old Super Tramp.
yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I've never heard of that brand, but I guarantee you this old school exhaust is probably built better than 90% of the new ones.
Well, Super Trap, you can buy them still to this day for like
Oh.
trucks and Jeeps. They have like the discs you put on them. So if you ever see some off-roading guy with a Jeep, he has a Super Tramp on there. And they just have discs that you put in there as baffles. So like basically it's just an open-ended exhaust and they put different baffles on there to slow the exhaust gas down so it's quieter. So you see some of them, they have discs like this and some of them they're all missing. So it's just wide open.
Gotcha.
It's the craziest stuff you ever seen. So like back in the 80s, that was the performance exhaust for your Enduros. So I don't know if you know the history of this bike, but it has the old school GSXR 1100 engine on it. So that was the original, the motor was originally, that's what it was designed for. So back in what would you say, like the mid to late 90s, this is what they put in the GSXRs.
Yep. It's like would this be like one of the first naked sport bikes?
So this one, they make an S
Or like
version.
super naked, I guess you would call it?
Yeah, so they have an S version, a Bandit 1200S, and it's got like this, it almost looks like a cheap Chinese crotch rocket front fairing on it, and they look hideous personally. The reason I like this bike is because it's like the cafe racer style, but it also still has everything of a rocket. It's basically, like you said, it's naked. It doesn't have the fairings or anything like that. I mean, it still has the inline 4-cylinder, it still has the sport tires on it. Your riding position's a little different, as you can obviously tell. You kind of sit up a little higher on it than you would on a rocket.
Yep.
So you can buy handlebars.
Good for old guys like us.
Yep. So you can buy handlebars for these that are just like rockets. They actually attach right here, and they come out at an angle.
Oh, dude,
So
if you wanted to turn this into a cafe racer, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, they make the kit for it. I actually like these handlebars a lot. These are the factory handlebars. When I first got it, it had four-wheeler handlebars on it, which, I mean, that should be the first red flag that's been laid down more than once. But, yeah, the bike runs good. Oh, to get back to my story about the oil and stuff. So after I changed the oil and cleaned the carburetor, it took me 2 days to put the carburetors back together, and you'll see why. There's like little bolts and screws and springs and little vacuum ports. You got to make sure those are all back together in order to install the carburetors. And the airbox doesn't move far enough to actually give you room to work on anything, which is awesome. I mean, that's probably my next modification is deleting this big airbox and putting little pod filters on here. And then I'll have to get different jets for the carburetors, but it's a simple mod. And they say it gives you about 10 horsepower is what they're saying.
That's tremendous on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And it'll increase your like low end. Like these have a good mid-range and high range, but they have no low end. They're just like a dog out of the hole. And I think that's wise because they detuned them a little bit from, say, the GSXR.
Yep. They still do that to this day on the nakeds.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the idea. But anyway, it smoked like you wouldn't believe after I first changed the oil and started it up. Because, I mean, that gasoline literally wiped everything completely out of the engine. Any deposits or anything like that was completely washed out. So when I changed that oil, it was like, black. I mean, it was dark. So if you look at the oil now, it's actually a beautiful color.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
it was a good color.
The bike smoked like that for a little while until the valve seats warmed back up and, kind of sealed themselves back in there. So there for a while, I thought I did some damage to the engine, but it turned out, I mean, nothing seems like it's wrong with it. Once I get the carburetor adjusted, she should run perfect again.
Good stuff.
It was laid down on this side. See it?
It was laid down on this side.
Yeah. See the scratches on the side of the bike? So
Oh,
this is probably
shit.
one of the accidents this bike was in.
Yep.
It got laid down on this side. And then also on this side, if you look, this is the kid I bought it from said him and his girlfriend would rather riding around in the woods, drinking on a side-by-side than dying on a crotch rocker. So I'm assuming they were on wet roads with that bald tire and laid it down.
Yeah,
so
that
it's got
sucks.
some marks here. The tank has a little bit of rash up here.
You know, this isn't bad though, because what's nice about this is just one part that you could easily swap out.
Yep. And if you look, it laid down right here. It protects the engine, that bar there.
Dude, you should scope out Sleaze Bay and see if you can find one of these in this color.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, this is like one of the only colors you can get these in. There's only a couple of colors you can get these in. I think it's like black, red, and that's it.
Yeah.
So should be able to find it. But yeah, I put new tires on it.
Yep.
And you can see those are the Pirelli, the Angel ST or whatever it is, GT. And then this front one, I think, is the Dunlop I was telling you about. Yeah, it's a Dunlop tire. But it's got like these Chinese brakes. I'll see if I can find them on the shelf. It's got like these really cheap brakes that the guy gave me. So in order to pass inspection, it was like 2 years ago, the guy says, hey man, this thing will need brakes. I said, all right. He said, rear brakes, the front ones will pass, but the rear, you need to put rear brakes on them.
Yep.
So this kid gave me these brakes. I was like, oh, I'll just throw these brakes on real quick. So I was like, I'll throw them brakes on, bring it back up to you. So I put them on. They are the worst brakes you could possibly ever have. You got like 4 good stops. After that, they are done.
4 good
Yeah.
stops.
After that, it's like you're just standing on concrete trying to stop. So they are the worst brake pads ever. So that's what I'm going to do this year is get PVC brakes for it, get the carburetor cleaned up and stuff. And I hate those mirrors. Those mirrors are the worst mirrors ever. So if you actually just sit on the bike and try to look behind you, so if you want to show somebody, like get on the bike and
Do you mind?
yeah, go ahead. And see if you can see me directly behind you.
I'm looking at my shoulders.
So
Oh.
you adjust those, you cannot see past yourself.
It's because they're so close
Yeah,
to the center.
Isn't that terrible?
They need to be farther out.
Yes, there's nothing you can do to stretch those out other than get a longer arm.
Yeah.
Or bend this tighter. So they're like the
Right.
worst. And they're like a knockoff carbon fiber. I'm sure after like the guy laid it down, the first person or the second person, I'm sure they had to put those on. Because like I said, it had ATV handlebars on it, and they were all bent to hell too.
I wonder what the factory ones look like.
That is the factory ones. I bought those. Oh, not the mirrors.
The mirrors, I mean,
The
yeah.
handlebars are factories.
This would look good with the cafe racer style that hook on the ends.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing.
That would look good. And
Right.
maybe even the ones that point down.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It would make the whole bike look lower or something.
Yeah. They do make like a weird little shield for the front of this that you can get so you can kind of tuck
Right.
in behind it. I don't know how I feel about that.
It would be good for highways and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
Maybe
about it.
maybe if it's easy to swap on and off, it would be cool.
Yeah, because I really like the way that it looks, the naked part of it.
Yeah.
And it's got one of them bulbs in it, like the, I don't know what you call it, the LED bulbs. It is like bright as sin, but it only shines about 40 feet.
Oh.
I mean, it's bright as hell.
Oh yeah. Oh, is it pointing down too far?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't got that far with it yet.
Yeah, whenever it gets warm out, take it and, shine it up against the garage door and do the whole measurement and all that stuff.
Yeah, the other neat thing about this bike too is it's oil cooled.
I know, that just boggles my mind that these are oil cooled.
Well, it's pretty simple actually because it runs the oil up front to the radiator, the cooler, and that's what actually cools the entire engine down. The rest of it's just fins like an old air-cooled engine.
Yeah.
So the downfall of that system is like if you're in hot weather, idling all the time, they actually swell. So you'll lose horsepower because of the swelling.
Huh.
But I mean, it makes them lighter though. There's no fluid that's in there. You don't have to worry about water pumps. You don't have radiators. You understand what I mean? So they actually make them lighter that way. But
Yeah, you don't have, however many gallons of coolant you're lugging around with you.
yeah. but like if I'm stuck in traffic with it, I mean, obviously I'd want to turn it off, not just sit there and idle. I don't know if this is a factory dent in this tank or if somebody sat up there.
They might have been stunting with it.
Yeah, maybe.
If they put... I know a lot of dudes would put... Oh wait, is it here? Or is it on the back of the tank that they would put the dents for them to sit on?
Dented down real bad.
Yeah, so they can sit on it, I think.
Yeah, so it's dented there. Like both of them on the sides are dented, but that's factory there.
Right.
This is.
Yep. Oh yeah, she's dirty.
Yeah, real dirty, man. Look, you're probably sitting on your ass right over there. So like, your seat comes off with bolts, right?
Yeah. Well, my front seat comes off with bolts. The rear comes off with the key.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this has like a built-in helmet thing?
Yeah, dude, they don't do that on bikes anymore. It pisses me off.
Right there's where it is.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And then you turn it this way, and the seat lifts up.
Yep.
There's the seat.
I have no idea why they stopped putting freaking helmet locks on bikes. My ZX6R didn't have it, and neither does my Hayabusa.
It's really convenient, actually.
I know.
They did it perfectly. You just lock it on there, and then you don't have to lug your helmet with it.
I know. I bought one for my ZX6R that looked just like that, as like an add-on. Somebody kind of fabricated it in a shed or something.
Really?
And it worked great, but I haven't found anything like that for the Busa yet.
So when I worked there, I took this. Because they were throwing it out.
Yeah.
Because this has like jams. You'll see what I mean. This is the perfect thing to work on a bike.
Oh hell yeah! I see what you're getting at here. I can move that stuff.
I'll move it one way or another.
Yeah.
You can back to it, or you can put it in from the side. The only thing you need is block the wood. Stabilize it.
You need what?
Exhaust sticks down.
Yeah.
The only thing you really need is blocks the wood to stabilize.
Oh yeah.
It's like the perfect thing to work on a bike.
I think you're low on
Yeah.
pumpage.
Maybe that's a problem with it.
Uh-oh.
So down all the way. So up's neutral, down all the way. Okay. Jack up. Yeah, see, won't do anything. There's pumping. Huh. Well, that's going to go to the scrap pile. We can fix that.
Damn it. How did it break just sitting though, doing nothing?
Oh, who knows, man. I wonder how you fill them.
That's what I was just wondering. There's got to be a way to fix that.
Here's a little hole thing. I wonder if that's where you fill it at.
Oh, now it's going. Now it's working all of a sudden. All you did is turned it like a... Whoop.
Yeah.
You just turned it like 180 degrees and then it worked. And now it won't go down.
Well, that's how it always was. This is how you get it done. Step on it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just need weight on it.
All right. All right.
That was weird.
Oh, now it's not working again.
Really?
Yeah. Now it's back. Kinda. Nope. She's sinking. Maybe mess with that lever again. Like that, and then is it working now? No.
She's falling. It must be low on the oil or something.
Dude, it was working perfectly there for a second. Why would it stop?
That's funny.
So that's like, it's not attached to anything now. Now it should be attached. Oh wait, what is this doing? Whenever I...
So it moves this lever right here.
All right.
Okay, I see how it works. That's the drain there. And this is the fill. Alright, let's check this.
This project's shifted gears quick.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? 46 weight.
46.
What are you feeling, Vince? 46 weight?
Yeah.
What was his name? Lance.
Lance, yeah.
Which is hilarious that any import would have 40 or 50 weight in it.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, he must be a BMW shop or something. Do you want me just to step on it?
Yeah, sure. As long as you don't hurt yourself.
Oh. Yeah. I wonder if you need a special tool to push in or something.
It's just bigger than the hole. I think we're just going to make a mass until it overflows.
Shit. Ooh. Oh.
Stand her up once. See if she runs out. Nothing's running out of it. It's where you need the eyedropper.
I know. Or a sounding rod. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll tilt that back and try her again.
Yep.
Step on her.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, we're just lubing everything up.
Right. Oh, is she taking her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, she's shooting out now. Go ahead and stand her up.
right on. Huh.
Oh, yeah, she's full now.
There you go.
Lugging out. What did I do with my bolt gun?
I thought you just kind of set it on the ground behind you, but maybe you picked it up. Maybe we ran over it, or
Yeah,
maybe
probably.
it's buried in cat litter.
Probably. That sounds about right.
Shit, dude. Am I gonna have to rewind the beautiful bean footage?
It's about normal working on something.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? You know, the green one.
Oh, found it.
Sweet. Blended right in.
Yep, it did. Meanwhile, this thing's fucking empty again.
I don't think there's any saving.
All that is a bottle jack.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, I bet you could just get a bottle jack and repair that. It's not going down now, is it?
I don't think so. Alright, we might as well throw that in the scrap bin. I don't know if we actually need it for this, though. Just going to be taking everything off. Now that I showed you it doesn't work,
Yeah. Perfect.
taking the gas tank off now.
Just yell if you need a hand, dude. I'll set this down.
Oh, it's all good. This basically, this pop out, this pops off.
Oh, dude, you have a trunk in this.
Yeah.
Like a legit 2 trunks.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that in bikes nowadays? It's all full of freaking ABS pumps and shit.
Yeah. Now it is, huh?
And ECUs.
Yeah, that just slides back off of there.
You gotta be kidding me.
Not much to it, man.
Just unplug the...
Oh, you know what I did forget to do? You can come look on this side. The petcock. The petcock has a Phillips screw in the middle we're going to take out.
Oh, yeah.
On and off one.
My big question is, and I've wondered this a lot about taking tanks off of bikes. When you disconnect the fuel line, how do you keep the fuel from pouring out of the bottom of the tank?
That's what that is. So what this vacuum port does on this is all it does is move this diaphragm just enough to let the fuel flow. So when there's no vacuum to it, basically this seals any fuel from coming through here.
Aha. So the fuel comes from up here.
Yes. This
So,
is in the
so
tank.
it would be oriented this side up.
Yep. So basically it's in the tank like this.
Yep.
So anytime you're cranking the engine, there's vacuum. So all it does is it allows fuel to flow through here because this has no off. It only has on, prime, and reserve. There's no off on it. So what it is anytime there's no vacuum pressure, it's basically shut off.
Yep, makes sense. So if you disconnect that fuel line, nothing's just going to come out because it's essentially, well, the one in there is broken.
Yes.
But if it was working, this diaphragm would shut off the ability for it to gravity feed and just pour on the ground.
Yeah, so whenever I disconnect it, we'll see how bad this one's leaking.
There's an easy test to see if that diaphragm's bad. You just pull the fuel line off the bottom, and if it pours out, that diaphragm's shot.
Yes.
Like I said, just yell if you want me to do something, because I'll just set this down or prop it up or something.
So that comes off with a Phillips screwdriver, and then that's what it looks like now. So once I lift up on this now, it'll come past it, see it?
Yep.
So once we get out of the way here, now you can see there's the vacuum line right here.
It's probably going to be a little dark, but we'll be able to see when we get it off. Do you want me to hold on to that?
That's good. So both of those come off. Then there's this switch here. And this is for the fuel sending unit. It tells me how much fuel's in it.
Yep.
Basically, I just have to disconnect it. Yeah, my fuel gauge is up here on the dash.
This was probably one of the first bikes with a fuel gauge.
Probably was. So I got to get a pair of pliers.
Yeah, I saw the hose clamp on the bottom.
And then tank should come right off.
I'm interested to see how they have the air intake set up on this.
What I want to do is put the pod filters on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get rid of that air box. Because that air box it's huge, first of all. And they say, it's kind of restrictive because there's a big panel filter in there.
How much gas is in this sucker?
It's probably all in the engines. There's probably none in it. Alright, there's that.
Oh, it is light.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, and it just pours onto the ground.
Look, see it?
Yep. Yep.
See it dripping out of it?
Yep.
So granted, it's not a lot, but at the same time, there should be none coming out of it.
Right. And if that was just dripping into the engine.
Yeah, so the whole time the bike's just sitting here, there's fuel basically going through.
Yep. And probably the more full the tank is, the higher that pressure is
Yeah.
being pushed in. So.
Yeah, so that shouldn't drip at all. And then this is where it gets fun. So look down in here for the carburetor. So here's your throttle return. So you have two cables connected. This one's for to give it throttle, and the other one's to return.
Right.
So it closes the butterflies, and then here's your choke. So you can see your choke right there working. See it?
Point to it again.
This one's your choke right here.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
So as you pull it, that's how it works. So all this has to be disconnected before you can pull the carburetors off, which looks like fun, doesn't it?
Yep. 4 cylinders worth.
Yep.
And then here's the air box then in the back.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, where'd that go? There's a little rubber grommet for the fuel tank. You see it fall out?
No, I
That's the
didn't.
first thing we lost. I threw the other one in here.
I didn't even see it fall.
It fell right down there with the dropped it. It's like wedged down in the shocks. Hung up on
I
something.
think I might see it.
See it?
I think it's behind the chain where you can't fucking get like a single finger in. I feel like it's right behind here.
Okay, I'll reach in there and get it. That's it.
Do you?
Yep. Seeing it and getting it are two different
Yeah,
things.
it's like really in there in a good spot. Perfect.
Yeah, so we should take this apart and look at the air filter just for shits and giggles.
So what were you saying that people swap that with? Like just put velocity stacks on it and call it a day?
Yeah, like pod filters. Yeah, so.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like little cone filters.
Yeah, that would be
So
that'd
they
be cool
put
as shit.
4 individual pod filters on these. They actually make K&N makes an upgraded kit for these.
Uh-huh.
Basically what it turns into is it's one filter for every 2 carburetors. So it has like one filter, it's like this shape, and then it has 2 cones of wonder. So there's one on this side and one on that side. Canon actually makes it for this bike. And then basically they say you need a jet kit for your carburetor then so it runs right.
Oh, I imagine, dude.
Yeah, so,
that would really change things.
Yeah, so it changes your airflow. We'll pull this off of here. Get my air box out. It's kind of funny we're doing all this to clean the carburetor and change the petcock, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Days later. So here's what my air box looks like. There's the cover for it, and this is this little filter.
Gotcha. And it even has like a secondary filter too, which is cool.
Yeah. And then there's a screen here. For
secondary screen type of deal. See, the air boxes on new bikes, what they're doing, I've noticed on certain ones, is they're starting to put freaking baffles in here to change the way the air flows.
Yeah.
So that it's just, all it is for Euro 5 compliance for certain noise regulations, because the intake noise is now even louder than the exhaust noise on these new bikes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, if I put pod filters on, how crazy is this thing?
That would be, dude, that would be legit. I think you should do it.
Right.
If you plan on keeping this for a while, that would be, I think that would be badass.
Yeah, look how big the air box is on the bike.
Yeah, it would just look sick from the side, too, if you could see them.
Yeah. Or, like, maintenance to clean a carburetor or anything
Yeah,
like
right.
that. I could just pop the pods off and pull the carburetor out. Like, you're going to see whenever I try to take this apart, like, this has no give to it. Basically, you're going to come back to the point where you touch here, and that's it. You can't not get this out. Like, the only way that they actually say to get these apart on the internet is people cut them.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so I don't know if they put this in and then jam the motor in here or how they do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's definitely not fun. So, yeah, I mean, there's no space anywhere to get it out. I mean, you might be able to get it out once the carburetors are off. Maybe you could tilt it forward and get it out, but I don't know. You know what? Maybe we should do that, Kurt. Take the carburetors off, and then we'll see if we can pull the airbox out. Get ready for pod filters.
So I'm going to assume it's this set of...
Doubles?
Yeah, 2 filters.
Yeah, let me see.
See that one in the middle?
Yeah, so that's the kit. They have the kit, just for it.
250 beans.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. So it's a little spicy, but boy, it'd be cool.
Look at all the vent tubes down in here for different things.
Vacuum and this.
Yeah,
and
vacuum here, vacuum there. This goes to this. I believe this is for the oil cooler itself. This valve here.
Does this have an EGR system in it?
Possibly.
I wonder if that's what some of these are.
Right here's some Egypt.
Oh, yep, it does.
Or oiling. That's for oiling or something. Hard to tell. I could probably do more research on the bike itself, huh? There's some wild stuff in there. I tell you what, it's funny too. To change the spark plugs in this, you need a special socket.
Do you?
It's an 18 millimeter, and there's no 18 millimeter that has thin enough walls to fit down.
Oh, geez. A thin-walled 18 millimeter then.
It's crazy. I actually took an old shitty socket and ground it all down the whole way. Just
Oh,
to fit
my.
it down in there.
So you're just disconnecting like the throttle cables and stuff now?
Yeah. So right now I'm just doing the, this is the choke right here that I'm undoing. Which, the last time I did this, it took me like 2 hours to get the, one of the throttles back on here. Throttle cables. So it's extra fun. So we'll look forward to that when we get there. And then right there's the clutch then, or the choke. So it's off. I'll have to get a couple other things off, and we should be able to slide it off of there.
Yeah, wow.
I'm getting that off there.
It came off before, right?
Yeah, definitely did. I'm wondering if maybe I can just take that off last. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Except everything will be like hanging. Then I don't know.
Yeah, but I'll be able to pull it out of the way and twist it.
Yeah, if you can twist it, it's going to break free.
Yeah.
Can't you? So you couldn't. Oh man, that's really on there.
Oh yeah. The joys of working on a bike. Get a bike, they said. It'll be fun.
I don't know. I think it's still more fun than working on a car, to be honest with you.
No, it's all good.
You're not crawling around on the floor the entire time.
There's one of that tubes.
You're not crawling around on the floor and you're not leaning completely over a hood, scratching the paint.
Yeah, you're just working on really tight spaces again. So the throttle itself comes down through here, and then it connects on this. See it?
Yeah.
So how you can get it off is you can rotate that and then knock those off, but then they're a nightmare to get back in.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because you have to pull that spring.
Yeah, I fought with this thing for hours to get them back on.
Well, can't you just disconnect it from from the top?
No, because the cable goes down through. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can disconnect these, loosen this to get it down off of there, but the only problem with that is like,
there's got to be a trick to this.
this whole thing's a nightmare, really. But hold them back like this.
This is where that airbox needs to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? That's all the further it gets out of your way. Too.
Yeah, and it's locked in there.
I feel like some of them need loosened more.
Yeah, it looked a little tight. Let's see. So, oh, and that can't go down because the rear shock is behind it,
Yeah.
and it
It's
can't
terrible,
go.
isn't it?
Can't go up because of the frame.
It's in a terrible position.
Yeah. Tight.
Oh, real tight. Tight like I got.
Uh-huh.
There we go. The worst part is the airbox doesn't fucking move.
Right.
I mean, it literally don't. I mean, that's as far back as it goes, and it's still in the fucking line. So all you can really do is just kind of pull this out of the way as much as you can and put
Right.
the carburetor down.
Dude, there has got to be a trick for this throttle cable situation. There's usually like tricks for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, get the airbox out of there and everything.
I know,
comes
dude. I know. That's exactly right. That airbox is so in the way, it's not even funny. I can't believe they didn't make it a two-piece unit where you could take the top part off and then slide the bottom part out through the frame, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That would fix all the problems. Maybe they intended to at one point in time and the bean counters shot them down.
Yeah, because
It is a two-piece unit. It's just two pieces in the middle for some reason.
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense, does it?
Nope.
Like, that's the size she goes up, too.
Yeah, I heard it hit something.
It's hitting the caps are hitting the front. Rotate that throttle once.
Mm-hmm. How far?
Just rotate it.
That's all the way.
Okay. Let me see what I can see.
Keep it there?
Yeah, just for a minute if you could.
Yep.
I can't fucking see it. That's so crazy to me. This shit.
Is there a way to turn that throttle blade from like the outside? Like,
Talk to me.
I'm just thinking, like, is there like a hidden screw or something like on the outside that you can turn and it just turns that whole mechanism? So that it would take the pressure, the tension off, and then you slide it out and do the reverse to put it back in.
I do not think so, sir. Oh, I see what you mean. That had to come off. Like the worst part is like this side. How the fuck do I even get this off? The only thing I can think is I could loosen those. Pull that off the front, maybe. Loosen that. Pull that off.
Just pull the engine out.
Yeah.
Pull it forward.
Pull the frame apart to get the engine out. Look.
Uh-huh.
That's how they get them out.
No shit.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool.
It's nuts, isn't it? Yeah, they turn right there.
Yep.
This whole cradle comes out. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like, fuel injection seems so much simpler than this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I know. The carburetors still, I just don't get them.
It's like a whole different world.
So can't you reach underneath and just undo that cable and just yank those suckers out?
Possibly, but I don't have the space to do anything at this point. Like, I must need to get it one way or the other, like left or right or something.
I'll let you pull it so you know where it goes.
That's not what that is. That's the adjustment for the idle.
Oh.
It goes right up in there. Isn't that crazy, huh?
See, now you can just reach in here and get that throttle cable out, I bet. Where is it?
It's in there somewhere.
Roundy round. Oh.
Literally don't move. Try to get this one off now.
Intake rubbers. So that the airbox has a place to go.
Yeah, so you can get the airbox out, possibly.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
According to the shop manual.
That still doesn't look like it wants to come off.
Alright.
Before we get too far, let me put this back on here. Put the oil line back on so it's out of the way.
Or should you leave it disconnected?
I don't want to rub it on anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's why they wanted you to do 1 and 2. I should have just pulled those ones off over there.
Yeah, but you couldn't get to the one bolt, right?
Well, yeah, without pulling this off that I pulled off on this side.
Oh. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of them fun things.
So now you'll probably have to take 1 and 2 off anyways.
Yeah. Just take them all off at this point. We'll just pull the motor, I think. Just to get the airbox out. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, so it turns out the trick to get the carburetors off is to just brute force them out the side of the motorcycle and then just disconnect the throttle cables with it out of the motorcycle.
While you're pulling tension on them that holds the butterflies wide open.
Yeah, with 6 hands.
So yeah, that's probably why they said about taking
And then
it out the
this-
other side.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think I have enough.
And then this airbox was flow formed inside the frame of the motorcycle. And you have to melt it down to get it back out.
So it's still hitting stuff.
Dude, it's gotta come out. There's gotta be a way to weasel it.
I think there's one bolt on the engine here that's keeping me from getting it out. I literally think it does have to go out that side.
I kind of don't even want to think about that.
Like, I don't see another way for it to come out.
I want to know the engineer that built this airbox design and then said, you don't have to pull the motor to get the airbox out.
Yeah. I'm just pulling all these rubbers off here to hopefully...
Oh, I didn't even see those guys.
Tiny bit of space in here, but
Unfreaking believable.
it doesn't seem like it's giving me any space. Look at this. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, it looks like if you stand right here, it looks like it just comes right out.
It does. Even from where I'm standing, it looks like it
So
just
it's
slides.
rubbing on this bolt here. This
Yep.
is back here behind everything.
Oh yeah, there's a big ass.
So it's literally hitting everything.
There's a big ass like bracket thingy.
So what we're going to do is hold all this out of the way. Or we'll take the other and take boots off. I mean, at this point, might as well just do a top end rebuild.
For real. Oh, you're just tightening that back up. With the bad O-ring in it.
Yeah. The leaky O-ring.
And then we'll do the other side and fuck that one up too.
Well, I figure after we get the whole top end off of this, we'll just replace all the gaskets.
We'll be $300 in gaskets.
Yeah. You thought the pod filters were the expensive part, huh?
I mean, hell, we might as well just replace every bolt in the motorcycle with titanium bolts at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to loosen as much bolts that have gaskets in them as possible.
Yeah.
And then reuse the old gaskets. We'll see which ones fail.
I hope you remember where all these vacuum lines go, dude.
Oh, yeah. You just plug them off.
Yeah, yeah, right. How to reconnect vacuum lines. And you just put a cap over it.
Yeah. Just plug it off. You don't need that.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, that was the only tight one in the whole bike. So, just so you know, if you're getting into being a bike mechanic, make sure you have tiny, tiny hands. Really strong fingers. No bolts or screws do I have on the ground over there? Huh?
What?
How many bolts do I have on the ground over there? Next to those ones?
3?
3, yeah. Sounds about right.
3 out of 4.
Yeah, one of them I dropped. It's probably in behind the chain case here, I think.
Oh, here's another one.
Put it with those ones, so there's 4.
Just put it with those ones. We do have to be really careful because nothing goes into these intake ports.
Oh, yeah. You just throw bolts and rods and screws in there.
Yeah. Put some of that cat litter in there.
Yeah.
See, I'm all OCD, dude. If I was doing this, I'd be putting rags in those to make sure that nothing could possibly fall into them.
Now you just jinxed it.
I do stupid shit like that, so that's why I don't think you do stupid shit. Did you wire this battery tender cable in? That's cool.
Already did it.
That's nice that it's there.
Yeah. Somebody took the time at one point to do something this late.
Uh-huh.
Other than wreck it.
Yeah, somebody loved on it a little bit.
Yeah. Right before they sold it to the guy that wrecked it 3 times.
Yeah, that's the way. I wonder if somebody wrecked my old ZX6R yet. Because that guy that rode it was brand new to riding.
Oh, perfect bike to buy.
Yeah, it's a good starter bike.
Yeah. The hell with the days of buying the old Ninja 250 and learning how to ride, huh?
Uh-huh.
Just get the fastest bike I can get.
Yep, might as well. Yeah, I can't imagine that. I learned on a 500, which was probably pushing it.
My first bike I ever had was a Honda 50cc dirt bike.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, mine was too, come to think of it. That's true. That wasn't my first bike. My first bike was a 50cc Honda.
Hey, let's find that screw I dropped. There it is.
Right in the crankcase.
Yeah. Right where you can't reach it. Perfect. Manual.
No, some guy on the internet that said he knew what the service manual said that it comes out of the motorcycle doing that.
So this is how it works, huh?
Yep. Just like that.
Comes right out.
Yep.
It looks like it's coming right out.
Yeah.
I think you should slide it my way.
That's what we tried first. Dude, it's coming out. It's coming out. If you get frustrated with it, hold the camera for a minute and I'll try and fight with it too. I'm
like he's frustrated with it.
I'm good at wiggling stuff out like that.
I'm about this close. taking my pliers and snipping those fucking tips
Those,
off.
I know, but then it won't ever go back in.
I'll never go back together.
Wash your yeah, wipe your hands and then be the cameraman for a second.
All right. This would be try number 36,000.
Yep. So this oil line is already going to be a problem.
Okay, we can move the oil line. You can take them bolts back out and just tighten up. So you got one of the ears out past without snapping it off.
Wait a minute. There's another line down here that I never saw yet. Where's that fucking thing go? See that line down there? Underneath the airbox?
Oh, yep, I do see it. Maybe that's the ticket to getting her off. That one right there. Hand me a pair of pliers and I'll get it off.
I just wanted to see where it went, see if it makes more sense to take it off down here, and it definitely doesn't. I think it needs way. Where's the
Pliers?
The needle nose worse in here. Are they on this side?
Oh, they're right here. I'm hiding them from you. So that airbox has to go back in now to get that off.
No.
Swear to God. There you go. You're going to bend the line or break the line.
I see what you're saying.
I have it pinched. Did it fall right off?
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, so let's get her off of there. Oh, looks promising. Looks promising.
I'm just trying to be careful of this oil line.
Oh, hell, at this point, we'll just replace it too while we're at it. $350 line.
Alright, there, wiggled it by that. And then just need to get, there it is. There it is.
Oh, right through there. Look at that. Good enough for now. There's oil and gas leaking out of the airbox.
Yeah, that's not good.
perfect.
Why is it?
Perfect.
Yeah, why did so much oil come out of that? And from where?
From the bottom. That's how it's designed. That's what that bottom is.
Oh, so this is where you fill the oil in a 1200 Bandit.
Yeah.
You just pour it into the
You pour it right into where. Take the air filter out and pour it in.
Fuck, dude, I just created the biggest mess. Where do you want me to go with this?
Oh, just set it right there. Oh, it's not a big mess. Come on now.
Yeah, but it dripped everywhere.
Oh, it's all good.
All right, now that we have the
Look at all that room for activities. My goodness, we could fit a new motor in there.
How about it?
I do not understand.
Put an electric motor on.
Why would you would design that like that?
You know Tesla's selling crate motors now.
Oh yeah. So there it is, to get the airbox out and to clean the carburetors on a Bandit. Only took about 3.5 hours for us to get it out.
After watching a video that's titled "How to Remove the Carbs from a Bandit in 15 Minutes."
Yep. Funny, was that video 25 minutes?
Yeah, the video that was 25 minutes long.
Yeah. It does look a lot better with that airbox out of there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that back in. That's ridiculous.
What's funny too is there's like these guards that go here. I should get one and see what it'll look like with a pod filter behind it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I took them off the first time I took the carb off. So they go right here.
Oh no shit.
So that pod filter is sitting behind it.
That'll look
It hides
cool.
all that. Yeah. So it hides all that stuff.
Is that factory?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it looks.
Mm.
See where that curve is on that airbox is right there.
Oh, dude, if you could get a pod filter to
Sit inside.
to sit inside there, nice.
Yeah. And then there's the other one for the other side that covers that stuff.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like a gaping open hole or anything. I am gonna measure that and order a pod filter. I probably should hold that piece up there. I guess it really wouldn't matter. There's so much room now, huh?
I don't know how long it. Well, when the carbs are back on, what was that? Add another 4 inches or so.
Yeah, but hell, they could come clean back into here.
Oh yeah, true. That's crazy how much room that.
opened up.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, and that now.
Well, that's
so
what
it's
I mean,
two
with all
pieces.
this shit on the back.
Yeah, so that's how much.
I mean, that's the depth that you have in there.
That's massive.
That's a terrible design. I mean, they could have eliminated all this stuff right here, like all of this, and just had like a filter slid down in here. You know what I mean? Just have a slot there and have it slide down in, and then have this just an open air intake. I mean, right now that's all it's pulling air through.
You know what makes this? You know what makes this design even worse? Like I was saying, how this part should have been two pieces.
Yeah.
Instead of that, all they would have had to have done was made like, I don't know how to describe it, but like this.
Bolt on.
This part here be a piece of this instead of a piece of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when we took this cover off, you would just pull like most of this out the top.
Off of it.
And then this could slide out without having to disconnect the entire engine.
Right. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
It's hard to explain, but
No, it's not. It makes sense. That there's no reason that big bulky box is on the
yeah,
back of it.
the whole that
If
whole
the
box.
bolted to the back of that, it would make sense, you know.
Yep.
For the filter. So we have an oil line. Where's this go? Do you see it down below? I think it's just a vent tube. Do you see it down there?
It goes way down there.
Yeah, but I think it's just to drain oil out of the bottom. See it?
Oh yeah, it does. It's capped off too.
So I just pull this.
Well.
Pull it down out. Here, let me take this off this top, this piece. And then you should be able to take it with you. Okay. Pull it out. There you go.
Yep.
Throw that in the airbox pal. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Why would they cap that off? It's supposed to be a vent.
Yeah, I mean.
That's probably why it's full oil, because it had nowhere to go.
So that goes there, and here's the other line. Where does it go? Up to the top, to this piece here.
EGR.
So this goes to here. So this will have to be into my pod filter setup somewhere. This one right here. So this one into the bottom of the air box. So that sucking from the air box would create that to what? We should look up, see what that is.
This?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, where do these go? Where do those four pipes go to?
Let's follow.
The front? Somewhere. They go to each cylinder. They go to the front of each cylinder.
That doesn't make sense though, because where does it go? So is that the pressure that comes out of the cylinders? It goes into the air box? But the air box would be sucking. So it's sucking. Oh, dude, all it is crankcase vent. I have that.
It is. It is just an EGR system. That is what it is. It is what it is.
There it is.
I just don't know why there's one for each cylinder. That's crazy. That's the most complicated. Yep, that's it. It is an EGR.
So I don't even have to use that.
No, you can just take that whole block off and just cap everything, and just put a filter
I can
on.
just cap this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And take that. You could take that whole EGR. You could take this off the bike, and you'd have to just. I bet they make a kit to plug those ports in the front. These ports right here.
1200 Bandit EGR delete kit.
I guarantee you, there's block off plates.
Look at the first thing that popped up.
Oh, pair system, right? Oh, for a Hayabusa. I wonder why that came up.
B-King and a Bandit.
B-King and Bandit. No shit. That's right. I've heard that term, pair system. I have to do that when I put the exhaust on my bike, the full exhaust. But mine's on the top, and it's just one port that you block off, and that goes, one port, and then that goes into the air box.
That's probably off. Just block that port. This says, removing the pair may cause popping in the exhaust.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want this. Mine pops already. Maybe that doesn't even work. Mine pops all the time. I fucking rev on it, let off, and it goes, whoa!
No.
Pop, 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 pop,
It's
pop,
the
pop.
it's the opposite. Because on my bike, whenever I put a full exhaust in, it suggests to block off the pair system because it puts fresh air into the exhaust, which ignites and creates the popping.
Oh, okay.
So whenever you block it off, you don't have the popping.
This guy says, I had mine off for 6,000 kilometers now, no popping, no problems.
Yeah, I think they have that reversed. Whoever's saying that. At least that's what Brock's Performance says. They say.
Well, this says the same thing. Technically, air removal on the Bandit will reduce the deceleration popping.
Right, reduce it. Yep. So it'll sound like a more refined engine tune.
So let's see how much that kit is.
Oh, dude, we're adding up.
Bike's starting to get expensive.
We're adding up here. We got 250 in filters that we're about to get, and then what's this pair system removal cost?
Here's a shady website, Whole Shot Performance. $50.
That's all you need, block offs.
Yeah, well, see.
Yep, just block offs. I'm sure you can't see them on the camera, probably, but yeah, they're just block off plates. Perfect.
Little gaskets.
One for each cylinder. These guys.
Right here.
Yeah.
So it just goes up to that valve up top.
Yep. Interesting. Well, now we know exactly how a Bandit 1200 engine works, pretty much.
Yeah, now that we got done rebuilding the whole top end,
Yeah.
get the airbox out.
Yep.
Let's get down a rabbit hole a little bit on this. When you had your bike and I rode with you with this bike, like I was impressed how fast what's your bike called? ZX 6R?
Yeah, it was a 6R.
Yeah, I was impressed how fast that bike actually was. Which makes you want to do extra stuff to your bike, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to just make your bike a little bit better. Ever since I got this bike, I've always wanted to make it a little bit faster because I know it has no low end. They always say like do the 5 degrees advanced on it, pod filters I read, and then some people do crazy shit. They actually take cams out of the GSXR 750 and put in this bike.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That kind of makes. I mean, I've heard that done. That was one of the things they did on the 3rd gen Hayabusas to cripple them. Is they put not cripple them, but to try and
Down.
yeah, for like the Euro 5 stuff and whatnot. The grind on the camshaft is different, so it gives them more low end power.
Less up top.
And less up top, yeah, because you have to give and take somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what they say to do with these. Whenever you put those cams in it makes it up throughout the low to mid range instead of your peak performance. It says it will give you a little more power up top, but not much.
I bet this airbox mod is going to give you a shit ton more power.
Oh, I bet you will, and it'll probably sound way different too.
It'll be loud.
Sucking through that little filter. I mean, in all reality, let's look how small this.
Oh wow, yeah, all 4 cylinders, all the air for all 4 cylinders is going through this 6 by 5 inch piece of filter.
Yeah, and it's not even; these aren't even like a high flow design filter either.
No.
You know what I mean? This is like your standard.
You can't see through
cardboard paper one. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even see.
No light through it.
No light. So I probably should have been replacing that anyway. But, well, I think here we are at this point where we can replace the petcock finally.
That's like the whole reason that you started tearing this apart. Now that you have to work in the oil that I spilled all over the floor.
You know, I mean, we figured out that it has a EGR style setup on the heads, which, I mean, personally, we don't really need that on this bike. And getting rid of that entire airbox to put high performance filters on it, I'm going to be putting new jets in the carburetors, which the carburetor needs torn apart and gone through and cleaned anyway. And that'll give me a chance to actually learn some information on how to sync the carburetors.
Right.
So I can chalk it up to a complete learning experience. It's not like we're out riding this bike tomorrow or anything. I'm in no rush to get it back together. Hell, here in Pennsylvania, we only have 3 good months of riding anyway, so we'll have her up and running by those 3 months.
Yep, yeah. We've got probably, 4 months to go before we can even consider taking it out.
Right, how about it? And by then I can have it all, gone over and basically ready to run then. So,
yep.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. It'll be a whole new beast by this spring.
Yep. That's where I'm at, too. I'm trying to get everything done way early. Like, I want to be done with everything by, the end of February.
Well, you know what I think is hilarious about you?
What?
About the inspection. Like, you and Adam have this thing in your head where your bike does not need inspected.
Yeah, it helps you get out of speeding tickets.
Listen, let me explain 2 things to you. So I've had bikes, right? Basically since I was 16 years old, I've had 17. My dad gave me his crotch. Well, it was a Maxim 650.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a crotch rocket on an old school frame,
mm-hmm.
like a cruiser frame. So one day I was riding through town, Bellefonte, on my bike. I come down off the hill past the school, made it around the corner and past the cop, A nice, beautiful day out. I was going 25 mile an hour. Wouldn't you know it, he turned around and pulled me over right in front of the courthouse because my inspection ran out.
Yeah, but dude, with a full fairing bike, mm-hmm. maybe that's where I draw the line. Yeah. A full fairing bike, because I don't personally think police like to crawl around on the ground to see if your bike's inspected.
Well, see, mine's here on the side, so I could get busted at a light.
Oh yeah, you could.
Yeah.
They're gonna see that from a mile away. See, on sport bikes, I don't know if they do this on purpose, but they're inverted forks. That's why. Mm-hmm. So sport bikes have inverted forks. So the part of the fork that actually moves is down at the bottom. So they have to put the inspection stickers at the top under the fairing where you can't see it.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so I use it as a get out of jail type of scenario where if I get pulled over going triple the speed limit, I'm just hopeful I can be a real nice guy to the cop, and maybe if I'm super lucky, he'll give me a ticket for my inspection instead of the points violation and the go directly to jail type of scenario.
Yeah, so I take my bike every year right up here. I mean, I have the bike shop, directly 3 houses up here on the left. So I go up there every year and see him get both my bikes inspected mm-hmm. every year.
Well, I see why.
I
see why.
He does things. He checks my brakes and, wiggles some stuff here and there and lets me know, hey, you should probably do a bushing here. Mm-hmm. Or, that tire will pass this year, but I'd replace it next year, He tells me, little things. I mean, granted, it sucks having to spend the money for it, but at the same time...
It does. And if you have a shop that you can trust to actually have any knowledge whatsoever, then it's also a good idea. The problem is I have no shop that I can trust at all. Yeah. I don't even trust the shop to grease my chain. Mm-hmm. Because the last time that I did, they greased it so much that it got all over the side of my tire, and I almost died from it on my way home from the shop, and I didn't find it till I got home.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, that's the other thing that's downfall with him. He is such a good bike mechanic that you can't get anything in there.
Yeah.
It's months.
That's the thing. Anybody that's any good, you can't even, you're on their waiting list and you get treated like shit because if they're good, they have such a client base that they don't need to worry about new clientele.
Oh, and you drive up there and it's there's just bikes, 4-wheelers, side-by-sides everywhere. You can't even... You show up there and be like, hey, I need to know when you can look at my bike. He's like, what are you doing? Inspection. You want to come back in 2 hours? And it's yeah, okay.
Wow. That would be nice.
And I'll squeeze you in,
That would be nice. Yeah, I don't know who to trust. The closest place that I would even consider would be the Suzuki dealership in Altoona.
Yeah, so if you ever need a bike inspection, let me know. I can get you an inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's funny, because Adam's the same way. He has no thought of getting his bike inspected.
Yeah, mine still has a Virginia inspection sticker on it. And it probably will until I sell it.
Oh, now you're selling it?
Well, I'm just saying that because it's a matter of fact. I mean, I've never not sold something, so I'm just going by that. But I definitely don't have any plans to anytime soon. I want to make it freaking awesome and ride the piss out of it this summer.
So what would it take? What the first issue you have with it?
I don't know at this point because it's so perfect. It is so freaking perfect. I don't even know what it would take. Wrecking it probably.
We'll say that.
I know. But
just look at the short time of the sitting here. How much fuel it's leaked out. I don't think there's any in it.
oh, weird.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So it's just dripping. It's just like yeah, it is. I see it. It's just slightly dripping.
That's not supposed to.
Nope. All right. So how are we gonna rig? You know what? What if you just throw like some rags and stuff over top of this and set it upside down?
Oh, I was just going to set it right on this. Start right on here.
I'm gonna put these in the
Scrap
truck.
these.
You sure you don't want these back?
Yeah, dude, I'm positive.
Good gloves.
Check that out, Kurt.
What?
Could use my impact router to get that out.
Oh, right. I bet those are tight. I have one in the truck if you need it.
Alright, let's fuck this here in action. And go get a hammer. Did I ever show you the hammer I made?
Now you're going to put a big dent on the other side of the tank.
Out the bottom of
And then I'm just going to name this video How to Create a Stunting Gas Tank.
it. Yeah, how to make a stunning gas tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you ever see the hammer I made?
Made.
Yeah.
What'd you make? Oh my goodness, you welded that on there.
Yeah, and then made a handle.
Holy balls. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then it was like vibrating when you hit something. It was like boom.
Right.
So I filled it full of spray foam.
Oh,
It took all the
wow.
vibration out.
Wow. It has its own harmonic dampener.
Hey, look at that.
What? Is it loose?
Yeah, I didn't even smack it. Oh, this one needs smack. That was done.
It's going to be hard to smack. There's gas going to be pouring everywhere out of there, I bet.
It shouldn't be. Shouldn't at all.
I'm still trying to figure out how that motorcycle ran. It had like it had like 50 milliliters of fuel in it.
Alright, there's that. There's this one. There she is. That's all it is. Little bad diaphragm in there.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
See it just run out. No, out with the old, in with the new. Guess it helped if I put the gasket on.
Yeah.
Now what's another leak, right?
Yep.
Nothing fits quite like the first one.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
More ways than one, sir.
Yep. Demonetized.
Yeah. Sir, I digress.
All the YouTubers I watch are getting pissy because YouTube has all of a sudden decided that if you wheelie on camera, you get demonetized.
Doing a wheelie?
Yep.
What?
Yep. So now whenever you watch a motorcycle video that has wheelies in it, they censor it. Like they'll put the blur stuff on it, like his cock's hanging out.
So, like, what about, like Nitro Circus and stuff?
I don't know. There's one YouTuber I watch that wheelies all over the place, and he doesn't get bleeped out. But then there's a few other ones that have started to do that, and they actually said right on camera that their videos keep getting demonetized, so they can't wheelie anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on.
Alright, so.
Done. Dunskies.
No leaks.
Yeah, no leaks. Good
Not
point.
spitting out. Not dripping.
Right on.
That's all it was.
Now we're going to fill it full of gas, and Joe's going to hold it over his head.
Yes. Just to prove a point that it was a bad diaphragm.
Uh-huh.
It caused the whole engine to get rebuilt.
Yep.
Like, I'm confused. Why did it cost you $5,000 to replace the petcock?
I think every video we make, this bike's going to be more torn apart.
Next video, the engine will be laying on the floor, the fucking pipes will be torn off of it. They're like, well, this time we are just blocking off the pair valve ports.
By the time we're done, we'll just like buy a new one and then film it and be like, look, we're done.
Well, do you ever notice that everybody's thing says that?
I know, they're just lying to themselves. Cause
Right. It's like, started a project, I just don't have time for it anymore. It's like, well, what made you think you had time in the first place? Just asking.
Did they sell a solo seat for this?
I don't know.
I was just thinking that'd be cool too to take the rear pegs off.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you couldn't because it's like mine where it's used as the bracket for the exhaust.
Oh, on that side, this side's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, this side's not.
just this side. Because I'd like to do that on my bike to take these off, but it's the bracket for the exhaust, so you can't. You can buy another, like somebody makes a bracket, Yoshimura makes one, but it looks like
I
hell.
could cut it off and put that little pipe on there.
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah, then you're getting back into the cafe racer thing where it's an impractical motorcycle, though.
Yeah, it's already impractical. It's torn apart.
Well, it is right now.
There's nothing practical about it. It's in pieces.
It doesn't even run, for fuck's sakes.
Jesus. Because I've wrecked like bike after bike after bike. So my first bike was a 50cc Honda, and then I had a KDX 100 two-stroke. Okay, I wrecked that thing all the time. It had way too much power, and I was stupid.
I'm surprised that you wrecked it though, because you're such a good driver. Otherwise, like,
Dude, listen, one time there's this. It was like a breast of a dam, so it come up and turn. Well, to it had a big hump that come up over it. I hit that thing, fourth gear pegged, and just thought I was just going to jump up, land, and turn.
Mhm.
I jumped and shot completely down off the hill, and there's nothing down off the back but brush and trees. I just fucking down off, boom, up over the handlebars, flipped, and the worst part, to add insult to injury, the bike flipped up with me, landed on top of me, and I was pinned down in the trees. I burnt my whole calf on the exhaust.
oh man.
Because the exhaust on was a two-stroke pipe. So when it fell on me, I was down in there and it fell down on top of me. I had third-degree burns in my leg.
Oh,
I still
man.
have discoloration on my leg from it. But that was a bad one. I had an older cousin that was into like amateur motocross. So he had a track set up because his dad had like skid steer and stuff like that. So they built him like a track around his house. And I remember sitting there watching him, and he was like, I was like idolizing him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so cool how he can jump. I had that little KDX 100, and I didn't want to like go out there and rip while he's ripping on the track because he's flying, you know. So I waited until he put his bike away and everything was done riding, and I went flying around that track. Well, there's like a big tabletop, so you come up and there's a drop off, right? And then you land on this one, and then he jumped down off of that one. So it was like a single onto like a tabletop. Okay. So I come flying up to the top of that and didn't have enough speed. So I went, completely missed the tabletop. Dude, I fucked myself up.
Yeah.
I felt like I broke both my ankles. I didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it
just jammed them real bad.
Just jolted. Like basically like landed flat, suspension bottomed out, and I wrecked.
Yep. Yeah, once you're out of suspension, it gets bouncy.
Oh yeah, well you just kind of fall off.
Yeah,
the bike.
yeah.
And then after I had that KDX 100, the next bike I bought was like a Frankenstein bike. It was real funny. The kid up the road or whatever, it was a YZ 125 frame, and it put a Honda 185 three-wheeler motor on it.
What the hell?
Yeah, so like his dad helped him weld it all together or
Wow.
whatever, because they blew up the engine on the bike. Dude, I paid like $200 for this bike, but it had the full race bike suspension on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a YZ 125.
Yeah.
And that thing ripped, but just didn't have, well, I mean, that thing was fun because you could just float across everything. It didn't have enough power to, like, get crazy, but it climbed hills and did everything you wanted it to do. And I had that bike for years, and then the next bike I got was a YZ 125, right? And then I had, like, quite a dozen YZ 250s and whatever else throughout my life. And Caleb grew up, his first bike he ever had was one of them Chinese, you know, whatever it was, 125cc four-stroke like pit bike. That's the first bike he ever had. I still have videos on my phone of him riding around the old yard up there on it. And the next bike he had was a YZ250. So he like basically grew up like from a little bike to that bike.
Right.
See what I mean? And he was afraid of it for years.
Oh, I know. I know. You had to convince him just to ride it. I remember, but he wasn't even tall enough to like. He had to like. He had like jump on it from something basically to start riding it, which is insane.
So like the last 2 years, he actually got pretty decent on the bike, but he has this air of caution to him that I never had. Like he just seems to understand, like, don't be stupid.
Yeah. Like
I feel like I was never had somebody in my ear saying don't be dumb, and I found out the hard way. Like I just did dumb shit.
What? A little bit. Skiing. What you doing?